All right, I gotta talk to y'all about Mandalorian because episode 3 of season 3 was great. This season has been really good, but for some reason, the fans online are complaining once again. And yes, I'm one of them who complains from time to time about some Obi-Wan, about The Last Jedi, of course. Who like that? Not me. Anyway, this episode and what Mandalorian is doing as a whole is patchwork to the sequels. The dreaded sequels. First of all, hope y'all don't mind my robe and the dim setting. My lights burned out. So let me introduce myself. My name is Chris, a Star Wars fanatic. Okay, I'm not one of these cans of the legends guys, but I am a hold the canon together and respect the original characters type of guy. So Luke, yeah, I hated what they did with them in the sequels. Filoni and Favreau especially has said that they cannot change the movies and that the movies are pillars in the canon regardless. So that being said, the next best thing we can do since we have to accept the bullshit sequels is to patchwork them. And that is what The Mandalorian is doing. So all these people that are complaining about this last episode that we got, I want y'all to remember, Mandalorian is basically Star Wars at this point. They are filling in gaps as well as keeping the story within itself that's contained supported. So this episode did both of that, okay? And people seem to be fussing and also missing the point that this episode was building a new villain. This show has no villain right now. Moff Gideon was gone season into 2. We're 3 episodes in. We don't really have a villain. We know there are some things out there. We don't know 100% yet who or what is going to be incorporated in the story. And they're doing a great job right now setting up a new villain who, I forget her name, was this new captain lady. I'll have to look this up. But the one that was, slightly shown in the previous episodes. And they pull all this back, and they do it wonderfully. They do it wonderfully. I mean, the whole episode, they're let me pull up the names here because I am bad at names. And I was reading this Esquire piece that came out on this. Oh God, who the hell? Brady Langman, Brady Langman, somebody that shouldn't be reviewing Star Wars. With all respect to this person, I don't know who they are really, but this was just a terrible a terrible review here. Anyway, sorry about that. Dr. Pershing's, yes, and he's giving his review. He's giving his information about the DNA that he's got from the Kaminoans. And I mean, all the callbacks to the prequels in this. I mean, first of all, we see Coruscant again, which is like that right there is everything. We get to see a post Return of the Jedi Coruscant. I mean, I've waited a long time for that. Lord forbid if I in the sequels wish to see Leia in the chambers that Padme were in. I would have loved to see that. I would have loved to see Han and all those Luke and all that. Maybe not Luke, but maybe Luke too in Coruscant in the Senate chambers where we saw. I mean, it's poetry, right? It rhymes. That only makes too much sense. So, anywho, back to this. We get to see Dr. Pershing give a speech, and he mentions Camino, and he mentions cloning and all this, and it's great. And in my opinion, we're leaning up to Thrawn, and this is building up to Thrawn, which is going to lead to Snoke. I think this is all going into some beautiful, beautiful layout here. And I think people should be a little bit more mindful of that, okay? Don't just expect Mando all the time. Look at Book of Boba. We got Mando. Now we get some other little sub content, but simultaneously it's building a villain in this lady. What is her name? I have to find her name. I can't remember it. She did fantastic though. She actually Elia Kane, that's right. The old comm officer or something. She did great. She did really good. I mean, half the episode. She was what The Last Jedi's DJ was supposed to be, and that was the you're not fully convinced that she's good or evil. You kind of don't know yet. And as the episode goes on, initially when you first see her, first thing in the episode you see her, you're like, I don't trust that lady. I know she's about to betray somebody. And then she earns your trust, and then she doubts it, and then she earns it, and you're like, it's a really good dynamic that she had. And then of course then it ends really well, and then she pulls out the snacks and that is just an excellent moment right there, and it solidifies, okay, new villain, new threat here, and but there's definitely somebody behind her. There's definitely a Thanos lurking, and we all are expecting it's Thrawn. Pretty sure it's going to be, and it's going to be interesting to see, man. I love this episode, though. I love the normalcies that they showed in the life on Coruscant and the little popsicles things. All little background stuff, man. It wasn't going to be action. The opening action scene was super dope. Loved it. And I really like the end. I really, really like the end because now Bo-Katan is recognized as Mandalorians by that sect. And everything's gonna. It's just interesting. I wasn't expecting all this to happen so soon in this way. This new episode coming up is called The Foundling, I believe, and I'm wondering if it's something in regards to Grogu and him having to have a helmet on. I can't remember. Did he bathe? I think Grogu did not. Oh, so I'm not sure, but it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna go forward with this. I'm very excited. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because too many people are hating. And then you got the Bad Batch as well. The Bad Batch is doing great. Really good stuff down there. It's really picking up in season 2. And they're building up some early cloning stuff too, and you can see the bigger picture. And again, it's patchwork. It's going to make sense by the time it gets to the sequels, the atrocious sequels. I hate them. Force Awakens was okay. Last Jedi was one of the worst things that ever happened to me in my life. And Rise of Skywalker was just a patchwork as itself, just a retcon film real quick, and I could live with it. Palpatine coming back, whatever. Fucking sucked, but it was better than Snoke, who nobody knew and died. And it was like, who the hell was that dark side wielding thing? We have no context behind it. It's very terrible. I just started reading comics to explain everything. It was weird. So very excited. I think Thrawn's coming. And the actions of this season has been really good. It has been a little spaced out, but when it's there, man, it's really there. This episode opened it up great with the TIE fighters, but again, it's going to be interesting now, that Bo-Katan's back into the she's recognized now by these Mandalorians, and I wonder if she's going to charge or challenge for that Darksaber. I wonder. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. I don't think. No, you can be challenged for Darksaber losing. You don't have to die or anything. I don't think that's, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you have to die to I don't think you have to die to give up the Darksaber if you lose it in combat. I think that's just how it happened a couple times. But anywho, Star Wars is at a really good place right now. I think with the exception of a couple, I don't know if Resistance is still in the canon or not. Obi-Wan was such a hit and miss, man. They did some really cool things, and they really, in my opinion, opened up some big loopholes in the canon with Obi-Wan and did some really questionable things. It really kind of feels out of place in the larger scheme of Filoni's vision. I guess it's all Filoni's vision, which is essentially George's vision. Because, yeah, man, Clone Wars, Tales of the Jedi has been phenomenal. Of course, Clone Wars was in the movies, the prequels and originals, and Rogue One was phenomenal. Andor was great. Solo was good even, as far as the canon of the story goes. And, yeah, I'm just, again, really just kind of curious as to the fan back. Not curious, but more so interested to see so much fan backlash. I just think fans need to look at this as a different perspective. I can understand if you're looking for Mandalorian, which we were, and you get smacked out of nowhere with this kind of subplot that just feels a lot drier and stuff. But I think when you think of the larger scale of things, like this is exactly what Mandalorian needed right here earlier on, establishing a villain, and then ultimately looking at the future with Thrawn. I mean, it's all gonna kind of tie in, I believe, with Ahsoka, and we're gonna get Sabine in the mix finally, and it's gonna be a nice, beautiful cast of Clone Wars and Rebels and Mandalorian and the story. You got Luke in the mix. It's such a really cool Oh man, and then it's all gonna inevitably, you're gonna see a young Kylo and stuff. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool to see that. I'm sure. Um, you might see him return. I would like to see that, man. I would like to see the story of the temple getting burned down. I would like to get a little bit of context behind it so it makes sense. As much as it can. Um, and then there's a whole thing past the timeline. But yeah, I'm drifting. I'm drifting again. I could talk Star Wars literally all day. And hopefully next time I'm gonna have a little bit more lighting. I'm gonna have a little bit more people, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth if there is a next time. If this thing garners any attention, I don't know. I just love talking Star Wars. I have to talk more Star Wars, and I can't wait. Mandalorian's coming out tomorrow. Bad Batch coming out tomorrow. I love these double dips. It's pretty cool. Can't wait for Visions Part 2, May the 4th. Really looking forward to that, man. It's a lot of good Star Wars once again. So if you like hearing me ramble, hit that sub, drop a comment, a like, something to support, to give me some heads up to keep doing it, because I want to keep doing it. I love talking Star Wars. I love seeing where this is going, and also the fact that Bo-Katan knows about the Mythosaur and nobody else does, and I want to see where this goes. I feel like she should have a conversation with the armorer about it. That just seems like, but then again, I'm like, no, like who? I don't know, man. Like I said, I thought this thing was gonna be a little bit longer. This angle, finding, bathing, purifying yourselves in the waters of Lake Mandalora, and but it's really been really quick. So they really kind of changed stuff up on me, and I'm good. I'm glad. I'm gonna be surprised. And Mythosaur. Who the hell thought we were gonna see a Mythosaur? And it's bam, here it is, Mythosaur in the building. And only Bo knows. Man, they're gonna redeem. I love it, man. It's gonna tie in. It's like poetry to the Clone Wars. It rhymes. Thanks for listening, y'all. We out.